Good morning. This lesson is for my Integrated 1 class, but before I get started, I want to say I hope everyone is doing all right out there. This is for Unit 4, I believe Lesson 4, but I don't know, it doesn't matter. But what does matter are our 3 goals for the day. Our first goal is going to be to create an equation that represents a situation. Our second goal is to rewrite that equation in standard form and notice how the numbers in the situation relate. And our third goal is to graph that line that represents the equation and discuss the meaning. So there's 2 things I want to actually review before I start the first goal. The first thing I'd like to review is reducing a fraction. If I have a fraction like 8 over 10, the way that we reduce it is we find the largest numbers that divide 8 and that divide 10. So 8 you can divide by 2, 4, and 8. 10 you can divide by 2, 5, and 10. The largest number that divides both of these is 2. So if I divide the numerator and the denominator by 2, I get the reduced fraction of 4 over 5. Again, 2 is the largest number that divides the numerator and the denominator. The second thing I'd like to review is negatives and fractions. If a negative is out front, it can go up top or it can go down below. If you have one below, it can go up top or out in front. If you have one up top, it can go below or out in front. You're allowed to move the negative around in fractions. Just make sure you don't turn one negative into 2 negatives because it's just one negative. Alright, so let's go ahead and move into our first goal. And our first goal is you want to spend $24 on $3 hats and $4 face masks. You're going to spend $24. So what we can do is we can actually think about, first of all, who we want X to be and who we want Y to be. So I'm going to let X equal the number of $3 hats. Right? And if X is the number of $3 hats, that means that I can buy 8 of them and spend $20, right? So you can buy 8 $3 hats and spend $24. Now, if X is the number of $3 hats, then Y is going to be the number of $4 masks. Little guy. Little. I got my dog here today. Little. Stop eating your foot, Little. Go get the cricket. Go get the cricket. Go get the cricket. You don't know what I'm talking about. Y is the number of $4 masks. That means that I can buy 6 $4 masks and spend $24. So again, remember, we want to spend $24. Right? You can do that by only buying hats. You can do that by only buying masks. You can also do that as a combination of the 2. So let me move forward here a little bit. So now that we know we have amount of hats that we can buy, which is an X value, and spend $24, we can actually make an ordered pair. This becomes 8, 0, right? And this would represent buying 8 hats, 8 $3 hats and 0 $4 masks and spending $24. I can also say that I have the ordered pair 0, 6, where I bought 0 $3 hats and 6 $4 masks and spent $24. These ordered pairs represent spending $24. This is spending $24 and this is spending $24. All right, I'm hoping that makes sense to you guys. All right, now that I have 2 ordered pairs, I can actually now write an equation that represents the situation. So using ordered pairs, I can turn them into a table like so. I'll make this my first order pair 8, 0. Make this my second order pair 0, 6. To go from 8 to 0 means that I'm subtracting 8. That's my change in Y. To go from 0 to 6, that means I'm adding 6. That's my change in that's my change in x, not y, and this is my change in y. I can now plug into my formula. F of x is equal to my first y value plus my change in y divided by my change in x, parentheses, x plus the opposite of my first x, so it's going to be x minus 8. All right. So I did talk a little bit about fractions at the beginning of the lesson, and I want to do this right now. I want to reduce the fraction, and I want to move the negative from the denominator, which it's at, to the numerator. And this is just to make the end result a little bit nicer and have the numbers in the equation really relate to the situation. But if I don't reduce it, still the equation that represents it. But if I do reduce it, you see how it relates more clearly. So I can divide, the largest number that divides 6 and 8 is going to be 2. So I'm going to divide out of 2 here. Divide out of 2, divide out of 2. All right, and I'm going to move the negative sign up top. So now I get f of x is equal to 0 plus a negative 3, because I divided 6 by 2. And I move the negative up, over 4, because I divided 8 by 2. Parentheses, x minus 8. Okay, so now I'm going to write my fraction, and remember I have a couple steps to do. Eliminate fractions, distribute, combine like terms, ... and divide. If I do these steps, I'll be able to rewrite my equation in simplified form, slope-intercept form. So let's eliminate the fraction. Everyone gets multiplied by 4, and don't forget that this whole thing is considered one number. So you get a 4, you get a 4, and you get a 4. This multiplies, so I'm now left with 4 f of x's. This multiplies, 4 times 0 is 0. This one cancels, and so now I'm left with minus 3 x minus 8. Excuse me, I did step 1. I'm going to now do step 2, which is to distribute. And I get 0 minus 3x minus 3 times minus 8, that's plus 24. Okay? So I distributed it. I'm going to combine like terms. 0 plus 24 is 24. And I get 4 f of x's equal to minus 3x plus 24. I'm going to divide out the 4 in my last step. And I'm left with the following. F of x is equal to minus 3x over 4 plus 6. And this is the equation that represents spending $24 on $3 hats and $4 masks. Because those are the ordered pairs that I started this process with. And from these ordered pairs that represent spending $24, I created an equation that represents spending $24 on $3 hats and $4 masks. So I'm going to pause the video here, erase some things, so I can come back and finish this lesson about standard form equations and how the final equation actually shows you things about the situation. So I'm going to hit pause and I will be back. I'm back. So let's go ahead and move on to our second goal. But before I do, let me just remind you how we got to our second goal. You're going to spend $24 on $3 hats and $4 masks. X is the number of hats and Y is the number of masks. 80 means buying 8 $3 hats and spending $24. 06, that's our Y, is buying 6 $4 masks and spending $24. We used the table, plugged into our formula, and got simplified and got the following equation. So our second goal is we're going to rewrite it in standard form, which means I have a number times x plus a number times y equals c. Notice there's no fractions. That's the first step we need to do in order to rewrite in standard form, is eliminate fractions and then move the number with the x to the other side using addition or subtraction. And again, remember, the point of this second goal is we're going to rewrite the equation in standard form and notice how numbers in this situation relate to this equation when I rewrite it like this. So I'm going to eliminate the fractions by multiplying everyone by the denominator, so everyone gets a 4. Okay. This is going to multiply. These are going to cancel. And this one will multiply. I need to do my second step, move the number with the x to the other side using addition or subtraction. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And now I get 3x plus 4y equals to 24. All right, so let's compare numbers here. And let's actually talk about this equation. This equation represents spending $24. I could get there by buying $3 hats, where X is the number of hats I buy, or I could buy $4 face masks, and Y is the number of face masks I buy. And notice that the amount I spend on hats plus the amount I spend on masks add up to $20 or $24. So I wanted to point out that the numbers in standard form relate to the numbers in the story that we use to find them, right? So, for example, if shirts are $10 and pants are $20 and you want to spend $100, it's really easy to do to figure out the equation. Let X be the number of shirts you're going to buy. So shirts will be, a number of shirts will be recommended, the number of shirts will be represented by X. The number of pants you buy will be represented by Y. And so what we would do is we would very quickly write the equation 10X, which is how much you spend on $10 shirts, plus 20Y, which is how much you spend on $20 pants, and you have a budget of $100. So writing standard form equations gets to be pretty easy when you realize that the numbers you're working with come out of the equation when you turn it into standard form. Our third goal is going to be to graph the line that represents the equation and discuss the meaning. I'm going to use the points that we, the intercepts that we use, or that we found from the story. All right, so 0, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's my points, and I connect the line. Oh, that was a terrible line. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right. So remember, X is the number of hats. Y is the number of masks. Right, so let's say that you buy 3 masks. Sorry, let's say you buy 3 masks. This is not a very good line. Let me try this one more time to draw the line more accurately. That's a little bit better. Let's say you buy 3 masks. Well, that means if you buy 3 masks, you can buy 4 hats. Right? So this point, 4, 3, means that I bought 4 hats, and I spent $12 on hats, and I bought 3 masks, and I spent $12 on masks. 4, 3 also represents spending $24. In fact, any point on this line represents spending $24. All right, the point of any point above that line, like 0, 7, what do you think that represents? Any point below, like 0, 5, what do you think that represents? And if we understand what it means to be above the line and we understand what it means to be below the line, we've actually wrapped our mind around a future concept. So again, big idea that I want to discuss is every point on the line represents spending $24, right? With some different combination of buying hats and masks. Any point above the line you're going to spend more. Any point below the line, you're going to spend less. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about that and how the graphing and the equations all relate together. Hopefully this makes some sense for you guys about standard form equations and how very quickly they can be written. I didn't want to just say, here's how you write it. I wanted to show you how we got to that point. So I'm going to go ahead and end the lesson here. Again, I hope everyone's doing all right out there. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Bye, little guy.